Hello, I'm Professor Toybox, and I'd like to welcome you back to my Atlantis dungeon crawling adventure. I'm here with Phineas.
I know what we're gonna do today.
Me too. We're going to hook up all of the Creativi-toys that I showed everyone in my last video, and then we're going to play through this new area for the very first time. It's been a rocky journey to get here, if you've watched my series so far, but I think we finally figured out how to avoid all of the bugs and pitfalls with the replayer control. So I'm excited to be making progress again and eager to play something new. So we already have the replayers as I showed you last time. They're already set up and configured and ready to go. We have some enemy generators that are already connected to the locators over there, and an enemy generator connected to locators here. Up here are some more replayers that have already been set and ready to go with some preloaded traps. I've got an enemy generator here for some guys who are going to chuck some TNT at you as you try to run through this little gauntlet. And over on the end, I've got a couple of more enemy generators with some locators already connected and ready to go. So at this point, we just want to connect everything up and then run through and give this a shot. So first thing I want to do, we'll come back here and we'll do this a little bit at a time. So I'm going to start off over here with these replayers for this little bridge section here. And we're going to go ahead and put down the randomizer that we need for those. Here we go. And we'll go ahead and connect this up. Properties, again, all those 10 triggers. And I've got 5 replayers here. So we're going to connect 2 signals up to each replayer. So when random trigger 1 connects to this, we're going to play it back. When random trigger 2 connects to this, or gets fired, we'll also play the same replayer back. Three and 4 will go to the second replayer. Five and 6 go to the third. And this way we've got a 1 in 5 chance of invoking one of these, any of these given replayers. 7 and 8 go on to this one. Number 8. And then lastly, we got 9 and 10 to go onto this guy. And if you want to know what kind of terrain each of those puts down, you can watch my last video, because I played each of these and showed you what I did. Of course, if in your own toy box, if you're following along and you want to make this for yourself, you can add a few more different layouts if you want, or change any of mine. It's up to you. Okay, so that randomizer is connected to those. So now we need a randomizer for over here. Okay, so we're going to mix this up a little bit. Random trigger 1. So I've got 2 replayers for that little pad over there. I've got 2 replayers for the opposite walkway over there. And I've got 3 replayers for over here. So we're going to kind of mix things up a little bit. So random trigger 1, we'll go ahead and put down that. Also on random trigger 1, we'll select one of these. And on random trigger 1, we'll pick one of these. Okay. And then for random trigger 2, we'll go ahead and leave that hooked up to this first one. Do half for that one and half, the 5 through 10, or 6 through 10 for that one, is what I'm thinking. And I'm just putting together some different combinations of these things. I could do 3 random triggers, one for each section here, but I think we'll get enough variety here doing it this way. And I'll go ahead and hook up the rest of these. I won't force you to watch through this. And I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, I've got the randomizer signal hooked up. 10 different combinations of these different replayers in these 3 areas. So that's ready to go. And I think between the 2 randomizers, that's really all we need. For randomizers anyway. So the next thing we want to do is come over to the starting trigger area. And we'll go ahead and new logic connection when exited by player Annie. Come over here to this randomizer. And trigger it, and that will pick one of those 5 layouts for that bridge. Then we'll come back over here to this trigger area. Somebody pointed out to me in a comment recently that I could be using a level starter here from the, make sure I'm doing the right thing here. When exited by player Annie. Instead of using a trigger area, I could be using the level starter. But from the description that the toy box gives of the level starter, it didn't seem like something that I could use. And I've never used it before. So I'm probably going to go down and one of these times when I'm offline here, I'm going to experiment with that and play with it. And if I can get that to work and figure out what to do with it, then I will go ahead and substitute that trigger area. But in the meantime, we'll just use the trigger area. So right now I've hooked that up to this randomizer, and that will take care of the random traps over on this end of the layout. Now for the enemy generators, I don't want to hook those up to the starting area because I don't want too many enemies to spawn in the toy box here. Coming out of this trigger area, there's already 15 enemies that are going to get generated in this area, and I don't want to bog down the CPU. So we're going to drop another trigger area down over here, along with a logic gate, because we only want to do this one time. And for right now, I'm just leaving all these Creativi-toys out in the open. Once I've tested this and got it working, I'll hide those below the terrain. But for right now, they're easy to get to, and if I have to make any changes, I can easily do that. So we'll come in here, and we'll put this just inside the gate. So you actually have to open that gate to trigger this. Again, I'm going to try to discourage any players in my toy box from using a flying character when they play this, because that'll spoil the fun. Okay, so we have a trigger area now, so when the player opens the gate and walks through it, at this point we'll go ahead and generate the enemies. So first thing I want to do is when entered by player Annie, I'm going to come over here and open this logic gate. Oops. And when the logic gate is open, go ahead and deactivate this trigger area because we only want to do this once. And likewise, when we come over here, we should probably make sure that trigger area is active. When exited by player any, activate. Okay, so now when entered by player any, we'll come over here and generate the enemies over by the bridge. And when entered by player any, we'll do the same for the area across the river here. And I could wait and set up a trigger area somewhere over here to generate those guys that are going to be on those ledges throwing the bombs at you, but I think I'll go ahead and do that anyway because we can handle 15 enemies. And I'm assuming by the time you run around the starting area and pick up the key and all the things that you'll need, that you'll take care of any enemies that are over there. So we'll start with 14 or 15 different enemies over here. Okay, so that takes care of those enemies, the ones over in the temple and the ones across the way on the bridge. The last set of enemies that we've got are the ones that are going to surprise you over on these two areas. So we'll need to set up another trigger area for over here. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky because there's a bit of a delay. Even though on those enemy generators I set the generation delay to 0, there still seems to be a bit of a delay from the time you actually run through this thing until the time the enemies get generated. So this one might take a little bit of experimenting. So I'm going to go ahead and set it here. Back a little bit. Yeah, I think that should be fine. And by the time you run through here and hopefully get to about this point, the enemies will start to generate. At least that's my plan. Okay, and before we do that, since we've already got the trigger area selected in the drawer, we'll go ahead and drop one over here as well. And I want to do the same thing here. Okay, and I only want to fire these one time. So we'll go ahead and put down a logic gate. For each of these trigger areas. And we'll do what we did with the other trigger area at the gate. So when entered by player any, go ahead and open the gate. And when the gate is open, go ahead and deactivate that. New logic connection when entered by player any. Go ahead and generate the wave. And since I'm over here, I'll go ahead and hook this one up at the same time. when entered by player Annie. Open the gate. When the gate's open, deactivate the trigger area. When entered by player Annie, generate the wave. So I think we're almost there. The last thing I want to do is hook up to this trigger area and activate those other two trigger areas just to make sure that's there. So when exited by player Annie, la 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 la. Make sure that's active. And one more. The other thing I should do is hook up to my reset button that I've got, which I mentioned in the first video that I had set up. I'll want to make sure that that reset button deactivates all of the enemy waves that we've created out there. And also that it clears all of the replayers, since I don't know which one will get picked by the randomizer. Make sure that's active. Okay, so that area is done. That area is done. Those are all hooked up. Did I hook this up? Double check that. Yep. And I know I hooked that one up, so I think we are about ready to go. So we'll come over here. And before I do anything, it's always a good idea to save your progress. So we're going to do that. And now you can take a sneak peek at my list of toy boxes that I've been working on. You'll get to see some of those someday. Okay, Phineas, let's try it out. So Phineas runs out of the trigger area. That should start the enemy generation up above the pit. And we'll go ahead and just for fun play through the starting area again. It'll be a little bit different this time, or should be, with Phineas versus Merida. And the random generation should have put things in a different place. Ah, get there. Oh man, somebody's shooting at me already. Whoa, that's not fair. You little boogers.
Wow, I've never felt so great.
Whoa, knocked him off the ledge. Knocked him off the ledge too. That's so funny. This is such an enjoyable thing. You get a different experience every time you play this. That's pretty cool. Whoop, there's one more guy over here. Two more guys. All right.
I gotta make one of these at home.
Okay, so now we got to find our grappling hook in case we need that. I don't think I'm going to need the flintlock. Okay, there's takes care of him. And him. I think that's the last of the bad guys. Now we're just running around looking for the key and the grappling hook. Let's see. Yeah, maybe see if we can get a bird's eye view of it up here. See where it hit these things this time. One of the locations is on that little step over there. I think I see something out over that way. Something's out here on this little peninsula. That looks like the flintlock. So the random generation's working nicely. It put the flintlock out here. Unfortunately, I kind of like my... I don't think I need that because I kind of like my baseball shooter here. I'm going to keep that. Oh, there's the grappling hook. Excellent. Oh, now I got that though.
I know. Aren't I a little young to be doing this? Well, yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, where is that key? Oh, I put it in the same place as last time. How about that? Okay, here we go into the new area. This ought to be exciting. So we come in here, open the gate. This time we got somewhere to go. And that should generate the enemies, which I see them generating over there. And before we go and face them, I want to see if I can figure out there we go. Got my baseball shooter back.
Are you alright?
Whoa! Whoa! Okay, so this is the layout we got this time. Alright, I don't think I need the grappling hook. We'll see. Of course, maybe it might be safer to use it. Just to make sure. Okay, let's see. Tools. Nope, that's the wand. Don't want to use the wand. I'll have to see if I can disable that. There we go, grappling hook, perfect. Uh-oh. There we go. Cool. And I better get my gun back. There we go. I'll get the hang of these tools here first. Hey, you guys look a lot alike. Must be a whole family of bad guys here. Nice. Okay. Now let's see what we've got here. We've got a spinner. We got those little guys are going to start bombing us here any minute. Whoa! Whoa! Oh man! That's not cool. Are they too far away? They might be. Ah, cool. There we go. Whoa!
Who's doing that?
Whoa! I think I'm shooting into the air. Ah! That ain't good. I'm gonna have to get into a better position, I think, to take these guys out. Yep. I'm just gonna have to dodge their shenanigans here. Yeah, or just go this way. Dang. How far can you guys throw? Well, that's exciting though, because that makes this a little bit more interesting. Since they can shoot so far, and throw so far. Apparently I can't go that far though. There we go. Die, you little guy.
I love this.
Okay. And now we can squeak through here. Squeak through here. Whoa. Okay, now we're coming up on that trigger area. This will be interesting to see exactly when these guys spawn. Hey, that was just about right. Whoa! Ambush!
Okay.
Whoa, how many of these guys are there? Alrighty. And there we are. Now we've made it through the new area. Well, I think that turned out pretty well. I wasn't quite sure what to expect all the way through, and it was kind of a unique adventure. And that beginning area was a little bit different, so that was fun. Of course, playing it with a new character is kind of fun too. So I think this is going to turn out okay. Again, we just have to be selective about where we put in our randomly generated areas, as I had mentioned last time. And next time we're going to go ahead and work on this finishing area over on this side, which will lead to a whole new toy box with a whole new maze. And if you want to see how that works out, go ahead and subscribe to my channel or sign up on my blog to follow me there, and you can see what we do next. You can also find build tips and logic diagrams for the different things that we make. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.